IVM.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Musafir Stories, India's very own travel podcast, where each week we share the journey of travelers in their own words and relive their experiences with you, our listeners.
Hi guys, I'm your host Faiza and our guest traveler today is Renuka from the blog Voyager for Life. Renuka is a solo traveler who blogs about interesting travel stories, her adventures on the road, the things she missed while traveling, and the experiences that enrich her. Well, she also talks about the beauty that enraptures her soul, the people she met, and the yummy cuisine she ate with them. Most importantly, she talks about how traveling has made her the person she is. Renuka's work has been featured on Thrillophilia, Make My Trip, Travel Triangle, The Hindu, and many more publications. She has also worked with a number of tourism boards and brand campaigns. So sit back and enjoy as Renuka takes us on a solo trip to the crown jewel of India. With that introduction, I would like to welcome Renuka Walter from the blog Voyager for Life. Hi Renuka, welcome to the Musafir Stories.
Hi Faiza.
How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful and it's my pleasure to be with you here.
Thank you. Renuka, we would love to hear your travel stories. But before that, please tell us, how did the travel bug bite you and since when have you been traveling?
I don't know if there was any particular moment when travel bug bit me, but I think I always wanted to travel. It's just that it started just one fine day. Like I have been traveling for the last 10-15 years, I would say.
Okay.
Like earlier I used to travel with my family. Like everybody in my family loves to travel. So it wasn't like I never had to go through that situation where I had to convince people at my place to allow me to travel, because everybody in my family, they are all bitten by this wanderlust, I would say. So I started traveling alone with Rajasthan in the year 2011.
Mm-hmm.
So I started my solo trip with Udaipur.
Okay.
Because at that time I didn't even start my blog. I started my blog a year later. So at that time I started traveling alone without any thought, without any agenda, and it was just random, and it was just a thought that I had this curiosity to explore a place on my own and see a place through my perspective. So I wanted to do it alone. And then when I did it once, then wanted to do it again and again.
That's wonderful. So, please tell our listeners a little about your blog as well. So your blog is called Voyager for Life and it's about a solo female traveler. So how is it for a woman to travel all alone? I mean, we would love to hear your story.
I started my blog in the year 2012. So it's more than 5 years now. And when I started my blog, I started it on a very casual note. Like I just thought to share my travel photos. Okay. And I had no idea that I would continue to do it for so many years. And because travel is my passion and photography is my passion. So, and when I started blogging about what I like doing, then automatically blogging also became my passion. Okay. So my blog is all about travel inspiration. And through my blog, I want to tell people that anybody can travel.
Right.
And if you make travel the priority of your life, you can travel. I don't think anything else matters. Like people say that we don't have money to travel or we don't have time to travel. Mm-hmm. And there are different things that people come up with. Mm-hmm. But if you really have the desire to travel, if you really have the curiosity to explore places, then I think you can do it. And I also face the same challenges as other people. It's not that I have a lot of money or I have all the luxuries. Mm-hmm. Like even I have my limitations. Even I have a family. Even I have commitments and responsibilities and different things are there.
Right.
But I'm able to do it because I want to do it. And anybody can do it. So my blog aims at inspiring people to travel. As far as traveling alone is concerned, I think it is a better way to travel.
Right.
I'm not saying that you should not travel with other people. It is good to travel with friends and companions and with your spouse or your parents or children or whatever. But traveling alone gives you freedom to do what you want to do.
Right.
And traveling alone allows you to explore a place more deeply.
That's nice.
That's why I try to travel alone most of the time.
Okay, that's great. And how about solo woman traveler? Any tips that you would like to give our listeners?
Yes, sure. Tips, I would say that don't even think that any place on this planet Earth is safe per se. Like you cannot really label a place as safe or unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
I have written about it on my blog so many times that no place is safe or unsafe. It's just in your mind, and wherever you go, just keep this in mind that you have to follow your instincts.
Right.
And do not do anything which is obviously foolish, like roaming around or wandering in a place which is deserted. If you find anybody such suspicious, if you find anything suspicious, you just have to stay away. And there are just basic common things and common sense that you have to use to stay safe. Like for me, when I book my travels, I always make sure that I book my accommodation in advance.
Okay, right. That will help.
At least the first 2 days in advance. And I try to research about the place. And I mostly stay at homestays and guest houses, and I avoid those usual hotels. And like I try to make sure that the place that I'm going to stay is well recommended, and it is it is not in a deserted place. And like I read reviews also in TripAdvisor or Booking.com, and I talk to people, and I also give a call to the hotel manager or homestay manager before I arrive at his place, and I talk to the person. I try to understand that what kind of person he or she is.
Right.
So there are like quite simple things, like I won't say that these are big things.
Correct. Yeah.
Simple things that you can do and stay safe.
Absolutely. And I feel somehow staying in homestays gives you a different feel altogether, especially with respect to knowing a place compared to a hotel. So you have both. I mean, in that way, both things are good. You are safe as well compared to a hotel. And you get to explore the place and look at it from a different angle.
Right. I think staying at a homestay is more beneficial because you don't have to really set out and think on your own that what you should be doing. Because when you stay at a homestay, you are staying with a local. Absolutely. And that local knows everything about that place. Right. So you get a chance to have those deep, meaningful conversations with that local, and then you learn about the cuisines, their local cuisines and their traditions and everything. And then the places that they recommend are more beautiful and they are less frequented. So obviously you get something which is you get to explore something which is not very common and not very usual. So then obviously when you have those usual experiences, then you definitely feel better about your trip and the entire experience.
Absolutely. That's true. So Renuka, going on with the Musafir Stories tradition, where are you going to take our listeners today?
I think I'll take you to Srinagar because it's very dear to my heart. Kashmir is one destination which is very, very dear to my heart. In fact, I would like to share that the moment when I landed in Kashmir, when I saw it from the plane, I had tears in my eyes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because it's said to be a heaven on like Kashmir is said to be heaven on earth.
Yes.
So I was very curious. One trip which I had planned several times and cancelled for some reason or the other. So finally when I made it there, so it was a very emotional moment for me. Aww. So when I landed in Srinagar, I loved Srinagar because earlier I thought that maybe Srinagar will just be my base and I'll be exploring other regions, other parts of Kashmir, which I did. But I didn't expect Srinagar to be so enjoyable. Like I didn't expect myself to like Srinagar so much, but I ended up liking Srinagar very much. I think Srinagar itself is very beautiful.
Right, absolutely. And it's after all the beautiful summer capital of Jammu and Kashmir and surrounded by the Himalayan mountains. Beautiful.
Yes.
So how long of a trip was this?
It was a 13-day trip.
Okay. And which time of the year did you travel?
It was in peak summer, June.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Great. So how about your accommodation and from where were you traveling, Renuka?
I traveled from Hyderabad to Srinagar. And I stayed with a couple of homestays. Like I stayed in a guest house called New World Guest House. It was a relatively new guest house at that time. And not many people know about it. I came to know about it through Lonely Planet and Booking.com. I think Lonely Planet and Booking.com are very reliable in terms of stay, and to read reviews, you can read reviews on TripAdvisor. This is additional advice that I'm giving because that's how I plan my stay and all. Because I like to research a lot. So New World Guest House was that was the first leg of my trip, and then I stayed a few days at Mahatta Homestay.
Okay. And so you booked these homestays both online?
Yes, online. Like I had a word with the owner, and then I didn't really book in advance. Like I didn't pay them in advance. Like I just had a word with them, and they reserved the room for me, and it was a good experience.
Okay, great. So, and what about with respect to any permits? Renuka, did you need any permits for certain places there? Did you take it beforehand?
No permits I had to take beforehand. Like obviously to explore Srinagar you don't need any permits, but if you have to go to places like Gurez Valley or Tulel Valley, the northern Kashmir, the area which is near to the border. So if you want to access those areas, then you have to go through several checkpoints. So you just have to carry your proofs, and you don't have to like obtain a permit beforehand, but you can.
Great. Yeah. And with respect to packing and everything, so we traveling from Hyderabad, it would have been like really hot in Hyderabad. So how did you prepare for the trip in in Srinagar?
Actually, I didn't have to prepare much because Kashmir is quite summery during June. Like it's summer there, so you don't have to pack woolens for that time. However, the weather is very changeable. You cannot really predict. It's very unpredictable. It can rain suddenly, and it can get a little cold due to the rains. So, and during the daytime, it can get very sunny, so you'll start feeling hot. So you have to carry light woolens, I would say. You don't have to carry too much, but yes, you do have to carry light woolens in case of sudden cold. So yeah.
Great. So we all packed and all prepared, and wow, we are going to the Switzerland of India.
Yes.
So how was it? The first day you've landed, tears in your eyes, you're so excited. How was your first day?
Yeah. So the first day was great, and all the days were beautiful, and I hold this trip very dear to my heart because it was not a rushed kind of trip. It was a very slow trip. Like it was intently slow. Like it was intentionally slow because that's my travel style. I like to explore places on a very slow pace. So Srinagar is one place where I had the luxury of time, and I didn't really care about ticking off hotspots. So the first day was spent at Dal Lake. The beautiful lake of Srinagar. So I started my journey with Dal Lake, and I enjoyed a nice evening stroll there, and I chatted with few shikara guys also.
Wow. Yeah.
It was a very different experience, and then it rained also a couple of days, so I had to stay in home also. Like I couldn't go out also for a couple of days because of heavy rains. So and then my manager, he took me to his village also, and then he took me to a cherry farm, their personal farmhouse, to his relative's place also.
Oh, that's great.
So it was all spontaneous. Like I wasn't planning any of my days. I wasn't thinking that, okay, I'll do this today or do that. And then one of the days I explored the old city of Srinagar.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
Yeah. So that way.
That's great. So let's go and explore like one place at one time. So Dal Lake is something that I think all of us have seen in movies since forever.
Yes.
You look at old movies, new movies, everything's got Dal Lake, the beautiful Kashmir lake.
Yes, but the beautiful part is that you can never get tired of Dal Lake. Like my shikara ride, like I didn't think of taking a shikara ride because taking a shikara ride alone doesn't make much sense because it is meant to be a romantic experience. So you're supposed to take a shikara ride with your, lover or like at least with somebody. But it was strange that I took a shikara ride alone, and everybody was looking at me that what is this girl doing alone in a shikara? But it was a beautiful experience, nevertheless.
Okay, great. How was it? I mean, the ride, you got to see beautiful mountains all around covered.
Yes. Like Srinagar is a kind of city where wherever you will stand, you will see some beauty or the other.
Wow.
Like it's not possible to not witness beauty in Srinagar.
Right.
And the city is quite big. It turned out to be bigger than my imagination. So there's lots that you can do in Srinagar.
Right. And I think even the Dal Lake is it's spread close to 15 kilometers if I'm not wrong. So that's a pretty huge lake.
Quite big. Yes, it's quite big. It's quite huge. And it's a beautiful walk around it.
Oh, wow. And the shikaras, please tell us, I mean, how was it? Do you have to bargain a lot with them? And
yeah, of course. That is one thing that you wouldn't really enjoy doing, to bargain. Because they hard sell a lot because that's they have a very limited season.
Okay.
So there are certain things that you have to deal with. I think it's okay. It's worth it. Even if you end up paying a little extra, I think it's worth it. It's because it's so beautiful. And it's one of a kind experience. Like I don't think such experiences come every day. So why not?
Could you maybe describe it to us? I mean, how was the view when you're sitting in the shikara? And
it was beautiful. I would say it was just out of a movie. Like we have grown up watching those movies, Shammi Kapoor and Sharmila.
Exactly, when I was thinking
those romantic songs, and, as if there's no tomorrow, like as if the come to a standstill and you don't have anything to look forward to, like you just want to be in a trance. It's a trance-like state, I would say.
Absolutely.
When you sit up shikara and then you just float on water, and there's just immense beauty around, mountains and all the lovely shikaras around you, and you just you just go in a trance.
Wow.
And one thing I remember which I really enjoyed was shopping on shikara.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yes, there are different shikaras, there's shops on shikaras that pass by and they sell you something and souvenirs and all, and then you stop for a while and then you try different things, and I tried different jewelry pieces and different things. So it was wonderful to shop.
So all that's happening through shikaras that are passing by each other where they are selling all this jewelry and all that. Oh my god, interesting.
Yes,
that's quite a nice experience.
Yes, absolutely.
And what around Dal Lake did you do? I've heard a lot of beautiful gardens also are surrounded. I mean, Dal Lake is around all these beautiful gardens as well.
Yes, like in the morning there's a veggie market. Unfortunately, I missed it.
Okay.
But if you manage to get up really early, and you can visit a veggie market also. So a lot of flowers and veggies are decorated and they are arranged in shikaras, and so it's a beautiful sight.
Amazing.
I also had a stay at the lake. I stayed in a houseboat for one night. That was also a beautiful experience because I just sat with my houseboat guy. He narrated different stories of Kashmir to me, and I just watched the sunset in front of me, and then everything. The sky turned orange, and then the sky turned into different hues, different colors. So it was beautiful. And then talking to somebody, and I had no worry on my mind. I had nothing on my mind that I have to do this, do that. I was just sitting in a calm and serene atmosphere and talking to a Kashmiri. And I would also like to add that what I realized after this trip of mine is that people have so many wrong notions about Kashmir, so many wrong notions about Kashmiris. Okay. And in fact, I would say that the people who live there are far more liberal and far more peace-loving. Right. And it's so wonderful to talk to them, and they are so helpful. And minus the hard-selling part, obviously they try to hard-sell you and they try to... But other than that, I think if you really dig deep into their souls, they are beautiful people. And... it was so wonderful that I was traveling there as a solo traveler, and everybody was so kind and respectful towards me, and everybody showed so much love to me that you are like my sister, you are like my daughter.
Oh my god, that's nice.
Kind of love I got there. So
that's wonderful. And that's just really nice to hear, because I was just about to ask you that how safe was it traveling around Kashmir, because we've heard a lot of stories, stone pelting and different incidents we get to
I didn't come anything unpleasant.
Great.
Yeah, there are one or two things which I would say were not that good. But I think I wouldn't like to talk about those things because those things can happen anywhere in the world. Like it's unfair to pinpoint one particular destination. Anything can happen anywhere. As I mentioned earlier, that you cannot really say that this place is safe or that place is unsafe.
Absolutely.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's up to you how you conduct yourself, what's your attitude, and like if you're visiting a place for something good, and if you are wise, if that wisdom and confidence is evident on your face, then people take you that way.
That's so well said.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, that's great. So beautiful, the lake. We've sat in a nice shikara, spent a night on the lake. Wow. So what next? What did you do? Did you get a chance to see any of these, the gardens around as well?
Yeah, there are beautiful gardens. One of the gardens that I went to was Pari Mahal.
Okay.
And I would say that it's highly recommended for the city view. Like if you want to have an overview of Srinagar, I think Pari Mahal is the place.
Okay.
It's beautiful. That entire place is beautiful, and you just have to find a vantage point, and you just have to sit and soak in the view around, because you will be able to see the entire valley from there, and the golf course and different gardens and different orchards and all, like apple gardens and all. So everything, like I don't think you will miss anything. Like if you just sit there and just soak in the entire panorama, I think that would be the best thing to do.
That's nice. And what about any other gardens? Did you get to explore any of them?
Yeah, I explored another garden, but it's not very popular. I also forgot the name because my manager, like my hotel manager, that guest house, he took me there, but it was also a beautiful garden.
Okay.
Besides the gardens, I happened to sneak into a cherry farm, which I remember very clearly. So, like we were just walking, and I just sneaked in cherry farm, and it was beautiful. Like all the trees were loaded with lots of cherries. I don't think I had ever seen so many cherries in my life before.
Oh my God! Wow.
Pluck cherries from the tree and have it. That was a beautiful experience.
So how did you get inside? How was it?
I was just passing by, like the guy was showing me around, like he was telling me about the village, and he had a farmhouse there. So we just came across this cherry farm, so we just got inside.
Amazing.
So I thought we should take a walk here and see. So it was beautiful.
Yeah. And I feel the weather there helps growing all these beautiful things, from cherries to beautiful apples, Kashmiri apples, to all the dry fruits and everything. And even the gardens around, like I think there is this Asia's largest tulip gardens that happen there.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just adding a note to all the listeners, it has like I think Asia's largest tulip garden, and also a lot of other bags and gardens as well. Nishat and I think Shalimar gardens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, all the gardens are beautiful. I think you can walk in anywhere. As I said, that there's no place in Srinagar where you will not find beauty. So whether you walk the streets or you walk the garden, it's the same thing, I would say.
Beautiful. So what all did you explore, Renuka?
Besides these things like the lake, and then there is this boulevard road. There's a long stretch of road there just across the lakes. That is also beautiful. And you can walk as much as you like because it's so beautiful. And then, as I said earlier, that I did a photo walk in the old city of Srinagar one day.
Okay, the downtown.
Downtown. So I went there towards the early evening, like late afternoon, around 4 or 5 p.m. because that's the time when you get the best kind of light to capture those old buildings and old architecture.
How was it?
Yeah, it was beautiful. The walk was beautiful, and it was interesting to see those old houses and the traditional people and the traditional way of living.
Right. And any interesting shops that you came across? Yes,
and interesting shops also, and interesting way of cooking and different things. Because Kashmir is a totally different world, and you get everything is different. Like the way people dress, the way people speak, the kind of food they eat, and everything is so different. And I also enjoyed exploring the cuisine, Kashmir.
What did you eat? Food is something that I think all of us go crazy on.
Yeah, I think I've written a separate blog post on my food trail in Kashmir.
Oh, amazing.
The food that I enjoyed was the street food.
Okay.
There was some restaurants that were recommended to me by some people, but more than the big posh restaurants, I enjoyed food on the street.
Okay.
That was far more delicious. The chicken dishes and all kinds of rotis, all kinds of parathas and different non-veg dishes, and I loved exploring the bakeries in Srinagar. I think Srinagar has this amazing bakery culture which I love because I'm totally a bakery person. So they have this particular kind of bread that they eat, and then they also have this plum cake that is very prevalent. So they like to enjoy plum cake with tea. And interestingly, the tea that we have usually, the rest of India, that we call masala chai, they call it Lipton. Which if they ask you, what do you want? Do you want this noon chai or you want Lipton? So Lipton means the usual tea, and then they have this salty tea, which is noon chai, and then there's another tea that they have. It's without milk and it's full of dry fruits and all.
Okay.
So it's very healthy, and it helps you cope up with the cold also.
Wow.
So it's nice.
Is that the one that's called kava?
Yes. I forgot the name, kava.
Okay,
right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was the first tea that I had. On my first morning in Srinagar, I had kava.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it sweet? How is it like?
So, sweetness depends on sugar, but I would say that it has its own flavors. It's neither sweet nor salty. It's up to you how much sugar, or if you want to have it without sugar, you can have it without sugar. But I think it's better that you have it without sugar, so that you can enjoy the flavors.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah, and what I particularly liked about Kashmiri way of eating is that they include a lot of non-veg is very basic for them.
Okay.
They like to have a lot of non-veg stuff, but at the same time they eat a lot of fresh veggies as well. They like to eat a lot of fresh leafy veggies, which I really like the concept because it's not just non-veg. They like to have vegetarian food as well. So I also enjoyed a lot of leafy veggie and kind of food.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is very good.
That's nice. Yeah,
and
food.
of course, Vazwan. Who can forget Vazwan?
What is that?
It's an elaborate platter, and you have it's a biryani kind of platter, and you have chicken also in it, and then you have mutton also, and I think lamb also, and it's elaborate and it's rich, it's massive, and I don't think it's possible for one person to finish it off. I just ordered a quarter of it and I couldn't finish it.
Oh my god! What is it called?
Vazwan, Kashmiri Vazwan.
Oh wow. Yes. Okay, that's something that I'm going to add to my bucket list.
Yes, it is definitely a must do thing in Kashmir. It's a must do experience, I would say.
That's great. And did you get to interact with any locals there as well?
I used to interact with locals all the time, wherever I used to go, every day. My usual day in Srinagar was just strolling around Dal Lake and in the street markets and talking to people and talking to shopkeepers and talking to the shikara guys.
Okay.
So my exploration of Srinagar was mostly about strolling, wandering, taking pictures and talking to people.
That's great. So how about you telling us a little more about the Boulevard walk, Renuka? What is there to explore in the walk?
It's mainly a green patch, a stretch of trees. And it's beautiful. You just have to keep walking, and it's quiet, it's serene. I would say it's the peaceful and more sophisticated part of Srinagar, and you will see a lineup of houses and bungalows over there, old bungalows of people, and all the big people stay there, politicians and all.
Oh, wow. Okay. Any other destination that you would like to cover?
There were days when I went out of Srinagar, I visited Sonmarg. I visited, that was a day trip. Then I visited Gulmarg on a day trip.
Okay.
But I found Gulmarg disappointing. But I wouldn't say that Gulmarg is bad. I think it's a great winter destination when it's all snowy. So it's a good place for skiing and all.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't like it at that point of time because of the horses.
Oh.
But Sonmarg is beautiful. Sonmarg is one of my favorite places. Although it is very touristic, it is still very beautiful. It is still my favorite. And then I explored northern Kashmir, which is Tulel Valley and Gurez Valley, which are not at all touristic, because it's pretty hard also to get there. Because at that time the roads were bad. I don't know what's the current situation of the roads, but it took me 7.5 hours to reach Gurez Valley from Srinagar by road. Once you reach there, it's amazingly beautiful, and it's a totally different world, I would say. Like the Kashmiris of Gurez Valley or Tulil Valley are totally different from the Kashmiris of Srinagar, because those people who stay in northern Kashmir, like their world is so limited, like they don't have access to so many things, and they'll live very simple lives, and they are very simple, sweet people. And one of the experiences that I remember very dearly is how one of the village folks, like one of the men there, he invited me in for chai, for tea. So I thought, okay, why not? So I went inside, and there was his daughter, and in no time there was tea, there were biscuits, there were chapatis for me, there were this beautiful omelette for me. Like they got everything for me. So I thought and it was served in a beautiful cutlery and in a beautiful setting. And I told them, you didn't even know that I am coming here, and how could you prepare so much in no time? And he told, if I knew that you were coming, then I would have prepared a chicken for you.
Oh my god.
It was a very different experience to experience that kind of hospitality from those people.
Right.
And they live so near to the border, and so near to that tensed area, and there's heavy army presence. But it was beautiful. And another thing that I loved was my rainbow spotting. Like I just two of the most beautiful rainbows of my life, and it was just rainbow in front of me, like in the mountain, not even in the sky, like as if I could just go and touch it. So beautiful. Yeah, and the weather is it's so unpredictable and so beautiful. Like when it's 7 o'clock in the evening, you would feel that okay, it'll get dark in a while, but no, even after 7 o'clock, it can get suddenly so much light you will feel around you, and suddenly you will see sun, and suddenly there would be rainbow, and suddenly there would be dark clouds. So different things happen in a short span of time. There's a kind of drama that you can see of weather, and it's also beautiful.
Amazing. Wow. Renuka, if you have to just close your eyes and think of one of your favorite moments in Srinagar, what would it be?
I think I've told you about all my favorite moments, but favorite moment would be, having breakfast with these village folks. Unexpectedly, they invited me in, and then they offered me so much of love without any reason. It was definitely my favorite. But then I would say most fascinating or most touching part was that when I went to Tulil Valley, the day I went to Tulil Valley, it was my birthday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
12th of June. So that's my birthday. And it was a remote place, and there was no network and no electricity. I couldn't get in touch with my people at home. I think that was my strangest birthday, because I didn't get wishes from anybody, like people who my friends and family. Right. I couldn't be with anybody. I was all alone in a remote place with strangers. And I didn't tell them that it was my birthday. I didn't tell anybody there that it was my birthday. I was staying in a guest house by Kashmir Tourism. Okay. So those Kashmir Tourism guys, they took care of me very well. I didn't tell them that it was my birthday, but the way they treated me, it was amazing. Like they pampered me, and they took care of me like their own daughter. And I thought that if I had told them that it's my birthday, I don't know what they would have for me. Like it was a very strange birthday, because I didn't tell them that it's my birthday, and I didn't celebrate it. And still, it was a beautiful birthday in its own way.
Amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Renuka, for taking us on this beautiful trip to Kashmir, and just like how it is out of all the movies, from Kashmir Ki Kali to I think Fitoor, the latest movie that I think at least I've seen with respect to Kashmir. Experiencing this beauty through your eyes was beautiful. So I would request all our listeners, we'll be adding links to Renuka's blogs in the show notes section as well. So please go out and check out her blog. It's got amazing and beautiful pictures of Srinagar. Renuka, maybe you could add a little note about how people can get in touch with you and contact you as well.
Yeah, you can log on to my website www.renuka-voyagerforlife.com, and you can write to me if you have any questions that on my email ID. It's there in my contact me section. I'm there to answer your questions, and I think there's enough content that I've written on Kashmir, so if you need any help, any guidance to plan your itinerary or where to stay and what to do, you can get all that information on my blog.
Right, and I think even with respect to a solo traveler as well, guys, if you need any information, any inspiration, you know where to head on to. Please go out and check Renuka's blog. It's got amazing details about a solo traveler traveling throughout. So hats off to you, Renuka, and thank you so much for being a part of the Musafir Stories journey and taking us to this beautiful summer capital of Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah, it was wonderful chatting with you and telling you about my Kashmir stories. And I chose Kashmir, I chose Srinagar because many people are still wary of going there. Like it is the best destination of India. So I think more people should talk about it. More people should visit it. I'm happy that I talked about it.
Yeah, we are glad that we got to hear a different story compared to what we've been like seeing in newspapers and all that about Srinagar. So looking forward to me hopefully making a trip there someday.
Yes, that would be great.
Yes, thank you so much, Renuka.
That was yet another great episode of the Musafir Stories. If you guys like the show, please subscribe to us on iTunes, Audioboom, Savan, Stitcher, Pocket Radio, or any other podcasting app that's available on iOS or Android. You could also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We go by the handle The Musafir Stories. Or, if it suits you, you could email us at themusafirstories@gmail.com and visit our website www.themusafirstories.com for more information. All of these links will be made available in the show notes section of the podcast. So here's to more traveling, sharing, and inspiring. Stay tuned for our next episode. Until then, happy travels and goodbye.